Because I'm going to explain the deck quickly, and then we're going to go into the fight. And then if you beat me, that's what YouTube's going to see. If I win, that's how it is. If we all make critical mistakes, that's just the nature of the videos, I think. So let's get into it. So let's see, what's the first deck I'm going to play? I mean, this is really exciting. I haven't really played any of these, but I've theoried them all. And they're all pretty good. So the first person in chat that gives me a leader, I'll play it. The first leader that I see, I'll play it. And then we'll start. But I'm ready to talk about any of these. Be quick now. Be quick with your business. Quick with your business. I'm watching. Ooh, EITHNE got in. Ooh. Oh, Hitchhiker throws me the cheers. Ada will be my second one. But I'll do EITHNE because I gotta go. Now, EITHNE's like maybe the most OP one because EITHNE's OP, right? And that's why I called this one the World's Fair, because I did the Dryad Elf Dwarf combination cards are in this. It's called the World's Fair because it's multicultural, but it's also the world is very unfair because EITHNE is a super strong leader. I have lots of removal in here. I have late game super strategic late game threat removal, dropping the Pitfall Trap right before my opponent's last turn maybe. I'm thinking about it. We got a couple of ambushes here, but mostly we're going with cards like Saskia to hit off that Elf Dwarf Dryad synergy. And of course, not Beckenbauer, because I just don't think he's that good, but I also have Eisengrim's Council, Dwarf, Dryad, and Elf. Look at a random one and then play one. So you're just doing a lot of this, a lot of thinning in this deck. Not as much as other cards or other ones, but we have a lot of hand buff here for the Dwarves, a lot of Elf stuff, Bomb Heaver for the artifacts, and Aglais for the big buff with EITHNE. We're going to see how it goes, dudes, but this is the Dwarf Elf Tribal Dryad kind of synergy with it's a very strong supportive leader in EITHNE. My first opponent is Ojats for this Fight Night Homecoming Clash of the Champions preview. Let's get in there and find our boy Ojats on this fancy new friends list. There he is. Challenge. Now, hopefully these all work. That's the one thing that I am scared about. So am I logged into GOG? I am logged into GOG. So we may have already run into our first problem. Maybe you should have the opponent pick a number. Oh, that's a good one too. I like that too. I need to figure this one out now. Hold on. Oh, waiting for player to accept invite. It did go through. It just took some time. All right, here we go. Opponent is still getting ready. Oh, I like it. All right, cool. I think this might just work. Hitchhiker to Galaxy, thanks so much for the cheer. Wants to see Ada? Well, we're going to see Ada control. Morvran, a very strong leader. Now, it looks like there is a little graphical glitch on the mulligan here, but Morvran, not only does he get tactical advantage, and has the leader ability to play 2 cards in the same turn, he's also got an extra mulligan. So being on the red coin is kind of scary. Kind of scary. We do have 2 hand buff cards in our Hawker Smuggler. We have some row moving, and I think that this is underrated. I think row moving is very strong. We have a tutor. We're going to keep that 100%. We have 3 mulligans, which means we can customize some stuff. I do like almost all of these. I would like Aglais later, and we have no support cards for Aglais, but we could find one with Eisengrim's Council. I think I am going to throw... I think I'm going to mulligan one thing. And it's going to be... No, I want to be able to take out something. Because we have this and this for removal. That's important to act. And we have Sheldon for removal. I think we're just going to keep this after all. We have an immune card in Milva to help us. I think that she's going to help us win this round. And then we have our bomb with Aglais, hopefully. This is so good. Ojats has been doing some research. He's already set up an artifact here because he's going to give Zeal to something right away, which means it's going to act immediately. This is why artifact removal is going to be so important, because not only can he give it Zeal, he can also protect it here. So I don't have any artifact destruction in my hand, and that's a problem. But since he didn't play anything that I can answer, I can also play a threat at the same time. I cannot lock an artifact, I believe. It doesn't count as a unit. So we're going to play our Hawker Smuggler, which is like our old Vrya Dragoon, and get some hand buff going here. We have to play it on melee, though. So it is very vulnerable card, and it's expensive to put in the deck. So I'm not even sure, but I think that this ability is strong enough that it should be very high priced. Now, whatever he zeals could probably kill this. Moving row is powerful. Yeah, so he's gonna he drops the Alba Armored Cavalry. Now there's some effects in game, and I have a lot of sounds turned off because the sounds aren't great and loud, and they're not consistent at the moment. But he just locked my Hawker Smuggler, so I'm no longer getting hand buff, and he didn't even have to use this. Also, this isn't a card that cares about movement. However, now that he has a lower unit on the board, I feel safe playing my immune card because Epidemic is also a thing. It is a thing. Some people might have it, and some factions have some stuff that can hit immune units. But now that he has, now that I'm free from Epidemic, I think I'm definitely playing this, and I can play it on the back row as well, which doesn't make that much of a difference, but I think we're okay. But I'm going to hold on to... Now, I have 4 charges every round, which means that if I don't use EITHNE, I'm just losing value. So I need to make sure that I'm getting... But they're charges, right? I maybe could have removed this unit here. And I will actually... I don't have an unlock, though. Slave Driver. Does 3 damage to a locked unit. And there's a boost. So now he's used his tactical advantage. I'm up a card, but I'm out of reach. But EITHNE is a lot of reach. So I think what we do here is we definitely go with Dwarven Skirmisher here, because it's a Scoia'tael unit that will buff here. It will also get a boost, and then I will also be able to finish off this card. Because it's... I don't think he can redeploy this, and I don't think it's that much of a nuisance to me. Alternatively, I could just play this and still use... I want to use EITHNE for reach. So I'm going to hold on to EITHNE, but I am going to play this because I think it's important to just keep this going here, get the boost on Milva here, and also continue some hand buff. Now, Sheldon Skaggs got a hand buff. Now, that's double dipping like old Swordmaster or Brienne. Sheldon Skaggs is that unit now. So maybe why would you switch the artwork? Well, Dwarven Agitator actually buffs dwarves in your hand. So this is actually kind of... Dwarves are taking a lot of hand buff stuff, and elves have a lot of hand buff stuff too. Lots of really kind of cross synergy stuff. Does PTR still get invites from Blue from old Gwents? I don't think so, because I did the inviting and Ojats went first. Ojats is going to be playing the Vikovaro Novice, which is actually going to... Oh, he played it on the wrong row, though. Now, I don't know if he did that on purpose, but I doubt he did. So there is our first mistake. Yeah, there he's emoting here. So this is something to pay attention to as you play. You got to be very, very careful. And hopefully they actually add... I want them to add an icon to these cards. Not really, like... It's not really for me. Like, we're all going to get there. And now he just discarded a card as well. Because he played... Oh, so what happened here? I'll explain what happened to Ojats. And this is like super old Gwent brain stuff. He played Morvran, which allowed him to play a card. But since Morvran is not playing a card, he had to play another card. So Morvran plays 2 cards. That's his ability. It's very, very strong. But in old Gwent, you would never do this. So he didn't understand why his turn wasn't over yet. He probably thought he still had his order. And then he forgot to play a card. So I feel for my opponent, but this is the kind of thing you got to look out for. So if anything, this is a cautionary tale for anybody watching this matchup. I'm going to still keep playing because I'm going to go ahead and drop the Skirmisher here. I get the reach, so I can drop it back here. It's going to boost. And this gets the boost too because I did play a unit and I'm ahead. We'll pass here. Sheldon is hand buff, yeah. So what did he actually end up having to discard? He just lost... Okay, so the card that he ended up having to discard was not a really, really, really important one, especially not against me. So the good news is... Ooh, Glorious Hunt. Actually, now that was RNG because these are all at 4 base strength. If you missed it, this is one of my favorite removal cards in the game. Glorious Hunt is very, very good because it kills immune things and it kills important things. But it does ignore boosting. So it's different than Scourge and it only hits one thing. So you pay the price for unreliability. And in this case, that was a 1 in 3 chance to hit the highest base strength unit here. And he played it with Menno, which is the tutor for Nilfgaard there. So there you have that. And this is good. Marching orders usually hits these kinds of units, so I think deck consistency is pretty good now. We're going to keep going here. I'm still really worried about the Petrie's filter, but I'm less worried. I think I'm just going to play anything now. We'll just do that. Get another Scoia'tael unit buff here, and our immune unit is continuing to grow. Now, being in Scorch range is a real thing, because Scorch is pretty damn good now. And there's the pass. So we're on even cards, and I have the win here. He never ended up using his order. It's possible that Ojats was just getting familiar, or he never felt like he needed it. The fact that he's running this, though, means that he's running Vatir. So I never had to use EITHNE, but that's okay. The threat of reach is important enough. There's value in being able to do it. There is value in him playing that Petrie's filter. Now, I drew a really important card here because she's qualified. I do have an elf, dwarf, and dryad in my hand, which means that Saskia is going to be like Imlerith Sabbath in that she has basically 1 cooldown on 2 damage ability. So she's going to be super, super good if I want to push here. Now, what I would like to do is always push round 2 because I don't want to do this open pass round 2 thing because I don't think it's right. What we're going to do is thin. And we're going to buff things in our hand. We're going to thin some cards, and we're going to play a really massive threat is what we're going to do. And we're going to do that one thing at a time. So we got to play this on ranged. Dwarven Agitator. It's going to buff a dwarf in my hand, which is only Sheldon, who gets the double dip on the buff. And now we have a really strong hand. Plus we have a little bit of, we can mess with him a little bit. We can move a row as well. Also, if I have to play something on melee and I want to move it back for safety, like Saskia perhaps, I can do that. She has reach too, so I can play her in the back row for safety if he plays stuff on the melee row. Or I can play Saskia up here so I can hit both of his rows. And then as soon as he makes himself vulnerable here, I move her back. And then she's safer and I can still get that value. All right, so he just went ahead and just played a low commitment unit on mine, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just play Isengrim Council for thinning here and see what we have a chance to see. This is a little unfortunate because I don't have a dwarf on the row. This isn't going to muster. So I'm probably just going to go for the highest strength unit here. Because this is basically just getting me 4 strength. Because the movement doesn't matter. Bran is... Oh, Bran starts with 3 charges. I apologize, guys. I thought it was like Udalric and some other cards. What's her reach at? She has no reach. This is a fantastic unit. So she starts with 3 charges already. So that's actually quite good. So she'll be able to fire next turn. 3 charges, and I have 4 charges on EITHNE. I actually am going to go for the 2 round here. Poor Ojats. But I am going to go for it here. 0 to 10 homecoming opinion until now. I was 8.5 and now I'm like 8.9. Do I think that cards with resilience can abuse hand limit in new Gwent, especially 1 and 2 round? I haven't seen resilience abuse yet, but there are a lot of cards that would deal with that. Ooh, good answer here. He does have both Witchers in his hand. He has Ox in his hand, which means that he has more locks because he was able to kill Bran with that 1 hit. So Sheldon is amazing removal. Moran, I'm going to just hold on to a little bit longer because she's good removal, but also answers a huge threat. But I think I'm going to play the Vrya Dragoon and move Sarah to the front row. Wait, do I still have this qualified here if I play the Dragoon? No. Then I don't have an elf in my hand. So I will play Saskia on the back row now and then use the Vrya Dragoon to move Sarah up so Saskia has enough to like hit for the rest of the game. But I do have to play Saskia now. So she's going to be able to trigger every turn. That's good. So he needs removal for this, or I think I can 2-round him. Ox Brings Locks, a short poem by Gulax. Yes. How long can we play PTR? Until Tuesday, but I'm not sure. So I think today is like the last full day. What do you guys think about round 1 matters more because of hand limit? I think that that is a real concern, but I also think that it's not as much of a concern as we think it is. Oh, now I don't have to move anything. I think that hand limit makes... I don't like going down 2 cards and getting cards back. That's like the only thing I don't like. But I also think that that's less important than it's ever been. A card isn't 15 points anymore. So what a card is worth is really open to debate. Even going down 2 cards to win a round if I don't get that card back might still be worth it because cards are very middling. So here we go. 1 charge every turn. This is going to be sweet. And yeah, I'm absolutely playing the Vrya Dragoon here. So move an enemy unit to its other row. Move an ally unit to its other row. So I want to play this on melee and move Sarah up. Okay, that worked as I expected it to work. And I'm going to leave this up in case there's a Scorch. So I'm free from that. Hey, 2. Oh, I misunderstood this. So this was a misunderstanding here. Now I see how this card works. I hope you guys continue to watch this. So what appears to be happening, actually, this is not a deploy effect that sets her cooldown. This cooldown is checked every time you trigger it. It checks your condition. So because I played the Vrya Dragoon from my hand and then pinged, I actually lost the check on the cooldown. If I had pinged first, I would be able to use Saskia this turn. So keep your eye on your sequencing. Because now if I play a dwarf and ping with Saskia, which I can't do any because I can't ping, the cooldown would then be at 3 and I wouldn't be able to use it again. So I'm actually going to play my Bomb Heaver now, which is a bad idea because he had... Oh, I can't do that, can I? If I play my Bomb Heaver and he has another Petrie's Filter combo, I will lose. So I actually am just going to play Sheldon now. I'm just going to play Sheldon now and just dig into him. This is a huge swing right now. I love EITHNE's effect. I love how it looks, too. Like, it really looks like I'm doing what she's doing. Like, it just looks so good on the board, right? 20-8. I have made my statement. I've made my statement. If he has a crazy combo he needs an artifact for, I'm going to make him play the artifact. I'm going to pass. Churrasco has a question. If you have to obligatory play a card to pass the round once you activate your orders, yes, you do. You have to. Because then you can get ahead and not play a card, and that's not good. See, right now, so I can't play Saskia and pass. That's, like, unfair. But that's not clear. That's not clear. Hopefully tutorials make that super, super clear. Right? But, like, it makes sense, like, when you think about it with your Gwent brain, like, well, that would be bad, right? He should have locked Saskia, but it's okay because I'm not going to continue here anyway. So I'm passing now the round. Morvran has 7 to go. His leader is not available. So I think I'm in a very good position here. He has to use a bomb. Vanamar, destroy a locked unit. So he did set that up correctly. He did set that up correctly. The lock wasn't as important as the value he was getting from Vanamar. Because Vanamar, destroying a locked unit is good, but sometimes it's not a huge unit. So that was good. But I'm still up a card now, and that will matter because I have the Bomb Heaver. I can still thin with this, or can I? Okay, I'm using... Okay. I need this for Aglais. This is my win condition right here. 1, 2, 3. All of these stay. Moran, I want there to be a dwarf instead. I want this to be a dwarf instead. Tempting. That's a dwarf. He has to act first. I get to play the dwarf, and then I play the Mahakam Volunteers. This is going to reach. It's going to reach, and it's going to get boosted. He just played Dandelion Poet. It does work the same way it does on live. He just drew a card, and he's going to place a card on top of his deck. That's very important because Vilgefortz still does Vilgefortz things. So if he just put a Tibor on top of the deck, that's scary because Tibor is a very viable and potentially overtuned card right now. But I'm just going to go ahead and play my dwarf, and then I'm going to thin, and then I'm going to buff Aglais, And then I'm going to play the Thunderbolt Potion to prepare Aglais. And then if I need to destroy an artifact at that point, I will. And then I'm going to play Aglais and win the game. That's how I think this is going to go. So now there's a dwarf on the row. So on my idiots, you know, my dudes, they're going to be thinning, and it's going to be a 6 strength play. 6 strength play on 2 bodies is very good, in my opinion. If units are locked, can you give it immune? Yes. I think that the lock doesn't prevent you from adding effects. All right, so he has a bomb heaver too, and he played it, which means that having my extra card right now, or my 2 extra cards, is going to be critical. So I'm going to play this here. It's going to go hi-ho, hi-ho. We're going to get that thinning here. I'm going to hold on. Like, I have a lot of points, guys. It's not looking good for Ojots at this point. I have supreme control in this match. Next play will be EITHNE. Nope. Next play will be the bomb heaver to kill that. Because I am scared of this. Because of Vatir de Redo. Because what he can actually end up doing... See, Vatir sees as a locked unit, and if he locks a unit next, maybe I can just wait one more turn. Because what he could do with this is not as scary as what he could do if he had... If this is bait and he had another thing. So I'm actually going to leave that up. And I'm hoping that that isn't me being... I think this is me being tactical right now. But I will destroy it if he... I'm taking a hint that he might actually have one more artifact. This is a crazy call. All right. So I made the right call in that it's probably Vatir, and he couldn't use this next turn. So now I will destroy it. His Vatir won't be able to actually go off. Because I will kill it with EITHNE. Because Vatir is only at 3 strength. So I've protected myself completely here. This is a deploy effect with no reach. Going to destroy Peachy's filter. He'll probably drop Vatir to try to get the steal on EITHNE, but since Vatir is order-based, show me Vatir. See, there's consistency. How could I have called it and he have had it? But this is an order. Now, the other thing about order that Ojots didn't know, that I didn't want to say until now because it's unfortunate, is that you pass when you play your final card. You don't have a final turn to take action. Once you've played your final card, you actually are done. So Ojots had some sequencing issues as well, but it's okay because I still had a way to answer this, right? So just in case he could have activated it, I did have a way of answering this. But I'm not going to BM. Ojots, don't concede, and you can come back into the chat right now, and I hope you know this isn't BM, but I wanted to show off this combo. I wanted to show this combo off. On deploy, doubles all boosts receives at turn end. So she's already boosted. Okay, so that's important what we saw there. What we saw there was really important. When my turn... So... Turn end effects, they don't... Okay. Because you have to pass when you play your last card, turn end effects don't occur. So you can't actually do that if your opponent's already passed, and that's your last card. So that is a good combo, but it's cheeky because your opponent can follow up with a Scorch. You could follow up with a Scorch, I think. So... There's actually... Wow, we learned a lot in that match.